And here we go, round 13, kicking off here at the Memphis Regional Championships. If you're watching at home, get on social media, use the hashtag #PlayPokemon. Tell us who you think is going to win this match. Will it be Pablo Meza from Mexico, traveling all the way to the U.S., or will it be Ben Potter from the U.S., trying to get another win and put himself in position for top 8?
That's right. Ben starting off the game with a Tapu-Lele-GX, going to use Wonder Tag and searching out an N. He's already got a pretty good amount of basic Pokemon on the bench, so feels comfortable just starting with a brand new hand.
Yeah, great start. I mean, all you want on your first turn with these evolution decks is your basic Pokemon. That way they can stay in play for a turn, and they can evolve on the next turn. You go from there. We do see the N from Ben. He's going to force both players to shuffle their hands in and draw a fresh hand of 6. And he'll probably be looking for an energy. Now, on Pablo's side, we see the Buzzwole-GX. Kyle, what do you think is the key to this matchup?
Math. He's definitely trying to get himself in a spot to knock out this Rockruff in the opening turn. If not, Guzma is a fantastic card to start working on these Zoruas, because your attack already knocks them out. You just do 30 damage times 2, that's 60, and you can start cleaning up these Zoruas, and if they're not Zoroarks, they're not going to start trading.
Yeah, so we see Ultra Ball in Pablo's hand. He's going to play that right here, discarding the Float Stone and perhaps that multi-switch as well. Great surprise card, but it looks like he doesn't want it quite yet.
Yeah.
And I have to assume we'll see Tapu-Lele coming out.
Yeah, he doesn't have a supporter card just yet, and it looks like he's probably going to have to go with a card that's more aggressive than a Bridget, because he doesn't have anything else after this. He wouldn't want to just fill his bench with basic Pokemon and then be stuck hoping to draw something off the top deck like an Octillery. So probably going to see a Sycamore or an N. Just depends on if he values these resources in his hand.
Yeah, Pablo doesn't even play Bridget in his deck. He just plays the Brooklet Hill to search out those basic Pokemon. All about playing Sycamore and N and Guzma on your first turn. Now, do you think he's going to attach, he has a fighting energy in his hand, do you think he's going to attach to the active or just try to draw strong energy?
Yeah, at this point, knowing that he's not going to be playing Guzma on the opening turn, he's probably going to have to go pretty aggressive for that the strong energy. Because he's trying to get to that perfect math with the Jet Punch, with a strong energy and a Regirock in play. That's 60 damage, knocks out Rockruff, and he can start working on some of these Pokemon on Ben's bench.
So we see the Max Elixir getting the fighting energy onto that benched Rockruff. So good start so far for Pablo, and we'll see what this Sycamore holds for him. And will he attach the fighting energy before he plays it? Looks like, yeah, he's not getting greedy.
Yeah, this works out pretty well for him. If the Rockruff doesn't get evolved immediately, it's still there to be Jet Punched in a future turn. And it's not like Ben wants to evolve these Rockruffs immediately. He wants to wait until Lycanroc proves to be effective and can use that Bloodthirsty Eyes to benefit Ben.
Yeah, and looks like the risk would not have paid off for him. He didn't draw any energy off of that Sycamore, so smart play, just playing it safe, saying, you know what, I could get greedy, go for the knockout, but I would rather just make sure I can attack, because missing an attack there is very bad.
Yeah, also a cute play by Pablo. Held on to the Brooklet Hill, didn't want to play that down so that Ben could possibly get maybe a third Rockruff into play. He's going to hold that until he sees Ben fill his bench, then Pablo can use that to his advantage in the coming turn.
Tapu-Lele-GX coming down using the Wonder Tag ability. We'll see which supporter Ben wants to search for. He has Mallow eyed up there. It looks like Mallow will be the choice.
Yeah, I'm assuming that he has a Zoroark in hand so that he can get these 2 cards immediately. Mallow isn't very good if you don't get those cards right into your hand right off a trade. So probably has some of these cards already lined up in his hand.
Yeah, what do you think he's looking for this turn?
Well, he could start to get aggressive if he has a card like Floatstone. He can come and bring this Zoroark and start to put some pressure on this Buzzwole here.
All right, there we do see the trade. We'll see what 2 cards he put on top. It's like a fighting energy and Lycanroc-GX. He's not going to use Bloodthirsty Eyes. No, he's using the multi-switch. And moving that double colorless energy up to his active Pokemon. Looks like he's just going to go for a Claw Slash.
Yeah, this is a pretty great play by Ben. It's nice to get aggressive with a Pokemon that you know doesn't get challenged too well by Pablo's side. The only real threat would be counter Lycanroc using its GX attack immediately. So he feels pretty content just putting all his eggs in this basket and seeing if Pablo has the answer.
Yeah, I was wondering if he would even maybe bring out Pablo's Rockruff and knock it out with Claw Slash just to take away that option, but no, looks like he wants to go after Buzzwole-GX, and can't blame him. Look at how buff that guy is.
Yeah, he is swole indeed. Yeah, it could get scary. He may have played into maybe like a Max Elixir Floatstone play if he tried to take the Rockruff out, but it's a lot to ask for.
So we see two more Pokemon going down on the bench. A Regirock and another Buzzwole-GX, and here comes pretty big Professor Sycamore. Can Pablo draw some cards to perhaps get a big knockout this turn?
Yeah, of course, he still has potential. Oh, look at that. He has 3 Max Elixirs. So don't say that this deck doesn't get its energies out quickly. Pablo's going to get everything he needs right here if he wants to.
To see Ultra Ball discarding Rockruff and that Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo is a card that's interesting in this matchup. It's quite good against Zoroark-GX. If they use Riotous Beating, you can then watch and learn and copy Riotous Beating. But Zoroark-GX is weak to fighting, so you'll actually get a one-hit knockout if you have a full field.
Yep.
But it looks like Pablo wants to grab the Octillery and go for Max Elixir #1. If he gets an energy here, where do you think he'll put it?
Yeah, it looks like Buzzwole is going to be the play here. He can probably set this Buzzwole up to threaten this Lycanroc, honestly. If he can get all these Max Elixirs to hit, his attacks are doing 190 damage. If Octillery is able to find him a Floatstone, then he can just retreat and keep going.
Max Elixir #2 hits as well. That's 2 energy onto the Buzzwole.
Yeah,
He's got one left.
This is going very well for Pablo. He's getting all of these energies out. It's also thinning his deck, which means that his Floatstones and his strong energies start to come to the top.
Here is Max Elixir #3. He finds a 3rd fighting energy.
I would not want to be Ben right here if this happens.
Wow. Your opponent went from just play that Buzzwole down, and all of a sudden there's 3 fighting energy on it.
And it's not over. He's got Octillery to draw 4 cards now, looking for Floatstone so that he could retreat here.
Don't see the Floatstone, so even though he had a perfect turn with that triple Max Elixir, it will fall a little short as he's unable to move that Buzzwole-GX out of the active spot.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty huge. Pablo does take 2 prize cards here, but Ben is just a Guzma away from using Dangerous Rogue on this new Buzzwole with all 3 energies now. He could just clear all this work Pablo did in one turn.
Yeah, he is going to send out Lycanroc-GX, though. And he could simply Claw Slash for the knockout. One major thing that's going to be coming up in this game is that Dangerous Rogue GX. Both players have access to it, and both players have enough bench Pokemon where that's pretty much going to get a one-hit knockout on anything, especially when you factor in Strong Energy and Choice Band. So we're going to see a lot of haymakers flying back and forth.
Yeah, now Ben's job here is to make sure that Dangerous Rogue is always online. That means that Rockruff having an energy would be ideal for him here. He'd like to make sure that no matter what, he can threaten that big attack so that Pablo doesn't come in with a big Pokemon and knock out everything he has.
Ben's hand, unfortunately, looks pretty bad. Just has to play Professor Kukui here. Draws 2 cards, and he doesn't have an energy this turn. He doesn't have much of anything. I think he would have loved to have an energy on Rockruff to threaten a Dangerous Rogue next turn, but just a Claw Slash, taking 2 prizes, and Pablo looks to be in firm control of this game.
Yep, Ben even misses the other puzzle piece there. It's in his prize cards. He had 1 in hand, so maybe would have been able to work something out there, but it looks like his attacks are going to start coming from Tapu Leles or Zoroarks in the future. He doesn't have anything else to go to.
Looks like Pablo's attacker of choice is this Lycanroc-GX. If he gets 1 energy, he can use Dangerous Rogue GX go down to 2 prize cards, and he's still got a fully powered Buzzwole on the bench.
That's right. Buzzwole will be able to clean up anything that Ben has available. So fantastic spot here by Pablo, eyeing up that this is the right time to use his GX attack, and he can get himself in a really favorable spot, especially knowing that if you do get end, you still have Octillery. You're going to find your outs.
But this does all assume he gets an energy.
Yeah, he's got to go.
He used a lot of max elixirs, so I don't know how many energy are left. If he misses here, it could be devastating for him. Oh, he does find the strong energy, and that could be all she wrote for this one.
Yeah, this has just been an amazing performance by Pablo. He's only had 4 turns or 5 turns now, but so many energies have hit the board, and he's just been able to dictate how this game rolls. Unfortunately for Ben, he just hadn't had the hand to really come back into this game.
And you can see just why Pablo has the record he does. 11 wins, 1 tie, and 0 losses. This deck is just incredibly aggressive. From the start, you can use Buzzwole-GX, Lycanroc-GX's bloodthirsty eyes, able to target down any weak Pokemon on the bench. Then you have the dangerous Rogue-GX. I mean, you have pretty much everything. Quick attacks early on to put pressure on little basic Pokemon, big attacks later, and it's just difficult to stop.
Yeah.
We do see the dangerous Rogue-GX taking down Ben's Lycanroc-GX, and I don't know where you go from here.
Yeah, it's hard to spot the lines from here, honestly. That Buzzwole is the biggest threat now, and there's really no way for Ben to knock this out in 1 turn. Doesn't even have an energy on board to potentially get that multi-switch to go for the Rockruff. I'm not seeing it. Maybe some stall with on an Octillery, and then he can buy a turn to play some energies down, but he doesn't even have those energies in hand.
Yeah, I think the only thing he could do is like play Guzma, bring out Octillery, or Regirock would probably be better.
Yeah, someone big.
And just hope your opponent hasn't played other ways to switch their Pokemon. I think any GX in Ben's deck easily gets knocked out. Buzzwole-GX does 160 damage, but plus 20 from the 2 Regirock EX. And that Choice Band turns that into 210. So not even Lycanroc-GX can withstand that one.
Yep. Ben here gonna eye up a Tapu Lele, and he thinks that he needs to get some more cards into his hand in order to make things happen, but I believe this just means that Buzzwole can come up and knock out anything. So Ben's gonna have to end the turn with a non-GX Pokemon in the active spot if he wants to stay alive for another turn.
Yep, so we'll see what he decides to do. Brooklet Hill being used to find another Rockruff. And maybe something like an enhanced hammer could throw a wrench in Pablo's plan. It just feels like there's too much that Pablo can have, you know.
Yeah.
And energy wins the game. Guzma wins the game. It's so hard to avoid.
Well, Ben here's gonna try to find the answer. Does find himself an energy, albeit a double colorless. And I feel like that energy has to go onto a Rockruff. The only real way that you can come back into this game is with that dangerous Rogue.
Trade. He's going to trade, discard that end to draw 2 cards. And yeah, I guess one way he could potentially come back is, you know, you have to throw out the Rockruff this turn. Hope your opponent doesn't have Guzma. Power up a Lycanroc-GX and Field Blower away the Choice Band and the Buzzwole. Go for the dangerous Rogue. It's just so much. And
yeah.
Even if you do that, you don't actually win yet.
Right. And Pablo fans out his hand for us, I'm sure. And we see the Guzma sitting right there. So
yep.
It looks like Pablo's got all the answers, and Ben's not gonna be able to come up with it this game.
Does not look like it. Just gonna see if there are any options in this game, but just the energy onto Tapu Lele-GX, sending out Rockruff and pass, and Pablo shows him the Guzma, and he takes a quick game number 1 in pretty dominant fashion.
Yeah, the good news about both these decks is that when they win, they win fast, and when they lose pretty fast too. So you're definitely going to be able to get 3 full games out of this matchup, and I feel like Ben knows what he needs to do. It just doesn't work out when you watch your opponent get triple max elixir onto a Buzzwole.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, this does feel favored for Pablo. He is the pure fighting deck, His draw engine is Octillery instead of Zoroark-GX, so he doesn't have that 2-prize liability on his bench. You see, Ben has Zoroark-GX, but it's weak to fighting, so it can easily be knocked out by Lycanroc-GX or Buzzwole-GX. And the big factor here is obviously Buzzwole against Zoroark. The 60 HP basic, weak to fighting, and you can just get so many easy prizes, easy knockouts, and take such a commanding lead in the early stages of the game, so that when you finally do use your GX attack, you're taking 2 prizes, and I mean, game's almost over.
Yeah, usually it's just all sitting there on the board waiting for you to just make the moves.
See Pablo very happy right now. Why wouldn't you be? You're in a great position. You have not lost a match at the biggest regional championship of all time. And Pablo has already won a regional championship this season. He used a Gardevoir deck to win just a month or 2 ago. Yep. And he is threatening to win yet another regional championship.
Yeah, he's in a great spot to do it, and he picked probably one of the better decks to do it also. Just matches up very well against the field. Doesn't have to worry about any Guardies. There's not many left. So.
All right, we see prize cards for Pablo. 2 Fighting Energy, 2 N, and a Rockruff. Nothing too big. And on Ben's side, we see, again, nothing too important. There's a Puzzle of Time in there, but you know, by the time you need that one, you'll probably be taking surprises.
Yeah, it works out just fine. Ben's hand probably isn't too great if he's starting off with a Professor Kukui, however.
Not at all.
Yeah, he's got 3 Rockruffs, so at least knows the Ruin knockouts on the opening turn, but that means that he's not going to have access to Zoroark in the following turn to start getting his hand to a better spot.
So Pablo, his hand looks pretty good to me. He has Ultra Ball, Strong Energy, all sorts of stuff to work with. So he's going to discard Rescue Stretcher and Choice Band. And I'm going to assume we'll see Tapu Lele GX coming out here. If he can get Regirock-EX down, he can Jet Punch for the knockout with a Strong Energy. Yeah,
he's just 1 piece away, so he can go ahead and grab Tapu Lele, probably grabbing Sycamore. And then all he needs to find is the Regirock itself, or Ultra Ball, perhaps even Brooklet Hill would be probably the best draw for him there. And he'll have the knockout lined up for himself here. He also has options. He could go ahead and Guzma now and take away the one with the energy, and then just play the Regirock. Means he's not going to have any way to draw, but he's going to be getting these prizes early, and he senses weakness knowing that Ben just went Professor Kukui pass.
This is an incredibly aggressive play from Pablo. He has no draw supporter in his hand, but he's going to play Guzma to bring out that Rockruff with the Strong Energy, play one of his own, and play down Regirock-EX. Go for the turn 1 Jet Punch knockout, putting 30 damage onto a different Rockruff, and Ben is under intense pressure starting on the first turn of the game.
Yeah, this is very scary for both players even, because Pablo could just get Guzma'd and then he's stuck.
Enhanced Hammer, though, could slow down Pablo. He left himself with no supporters, no energy in hand, so that Enhanced Hammer might stop the pressure.
Yeah, he doesn't have an energy in hand, and he's Ben's just going to pass over to Pablo.
Oh, he finds the energy.
Wow. Pablo also has a Brooklet Hill in hand, but I don't think he wants to play it because he gives Ben more Pokemon. He's about to bench Ben out, so might as well just keep attacking with Jet Punch.
Another prize. He gets an N out of his prizes this time. But can Ben do anything? Does he have perhaps a Lycanroc-GX? I think he does.
Yeah, now do you want to use the ability or not? Looks like he's going to say no and just try to put pressure on this Buzzwole. He might think, Pablo's not doing anything, and my attack does a little more damage right now than his.
Yeah, and that'll probably force Pablo to play this N. He has a Max Elixir as well. And Brooklet Hill, he could search for a Buzzwole. He could win the game this turn with a couple Max Elixirs if he wants to.
Yeah, if that N hits him 1 Max Elixir that he hits and he gets a Floatstone, then he puts himself in a pretty great spot.
He's eyeing up the Sudowoodo. That could use Claw Slash, since that was the last attack that was used. He could also, set up a 2-hit knockout here. He could Jet Punch for 40 and power up the Sudowoodo so that with a Choice Band or Strong Energy or something, you can get to enough damage, copying Claw Slash on the next turn.
Yeah. No, Pablo can't grab those Strong Energies with Max Elixir, so...
That'd be pretty good.
He fails that one, yeah.
Yeah, this Max Elixir does miss. I don't think he missed it all in the last game, but this one does not connect. He attaches the energy to Sudowoodo, and will he play the N here?
Yeah,
No.
I kind of like him holding on to it. He knows that his Buzzwole's going to get knocked out, so might as well bring Ben down there with you if you guys can both draw 4.
Ben is going to use Brooklet Hill. He does play 4 Rockruff, so there could be number 4 hitting the bench. You know, not a lot of people were playing such a heavy Lycanroc line, and this one is paying off as 2 have been knocked out, 1 is active, and Rockruff number 4 hitting the bench. If he can attach energy to it, he can stay in the game.
Yeah, always great to threaten a pretty nice attacker there, and Lycanroc is pretty much his sole attacker in this matchup. Doesn't want to bring up the Zoroarks and hasn't even had the opportunity to because he can't find a Zorua.
See the Field Blower discarding Brooklet Hill, and Ben takes 2 prize cards, evening the game up here. And all Pablo has for a supporter in hand is N, which is only going to get him 4 cards. He's not even guaranteed to attack this turn.
Right, and Pablo's going to just go ahead and use the N here now and try to find something to work with. He will be able to copy an attack for 110.
And plus 10 for the Regirock.
And, yeah, so 120 would get him to, yeah, he's going to need to find Strong Energy or a Choice Band along with it, so.
That works out beautifully. If he misses, then he could be in quite a bit of trouble, but if he connects, that's going to knock out Lycanroc-GX. Now, the good news for Ben is that Sudowoodo can only like match your opponent's attack, so after he gets the knockout, if Ben just passes, then Sudowoodo can't really do anything.
Yep.
So he'll have some time, but looks like Pablo missed his energy and just finds a bunch of Pokemon and has to pass the turn.
Yeah, he pretty much just played Bridget. he got the N right back in his hand and didn't really get to do much, but it's nice to have these resources available to him. He can potentially draw an Octillery off this future N.
Now Ben has an N in his hand. Does he want to play it? Pablo only has 1 card.
Right.
It says no. This is a bizarre, extremely low resource game. And oh, Pablo top decks Professor Sycamore for the turn. All he had was N. Now he gets to draw 7 cards.
Yeah, fantastic draw there for Pablo. Probably going to find an energy, you'd think. No.
You would think so, huh? He does have a Max Elixir, so he could... If he has another Buzzwole, he could put it down. I'm just going to Max Elixir and not put down the Buzzwole. Afraid of the dangerous Rogue-GX. If he has multi-switch, though, he could switch it up to the Buzzwole.
That's right. Yeah, it's nice to play at 3 bench space against this deck. It still can happen if Ben finds himself a Choice Band. He can make the math work out in his favor anyways because he's already got a Strong Energy down. But it gets scary once you get to that 4 and 5 mark.
Yeah, and no, Pablo just going to pass the turn. So right now, Dangerous Rogue-GX is doing 170 damage in total. If he can find Choice Band, he'll get the knockout. But Zoroark-GX comes down, and Ben's just going to play an N here, and he will have the benefit of trade afterwards.
Yep, he has that trade, and he's probably eyeing up finding a Lycanroc. If he's able to take this Rockruff off the board, he doesn't have to worry about a return knockout coming from Pablo's side. It's very difficult to do, knowing that he already used a few Max Elixirs and he has no energy on board.
So Ben will draw 3 cards off of his N. Pablo drawing 4. I got to say, this has been a strange game. Back and forth, twists and turns. Pablo got almost recklessly aggressive early on, trying to get a quick win. Ben drawing just enough to stay in the game. We're going to see a trade, discarding double colorless energy. We'll see, can he find Choice Band? No.
Yep, doesn't have it. Finds another double colorless. Doesn't have a Lycanroc option to remove the only energy on board either. So probably just going to attack into this Buzzwole. 130 damage here from the Claw Slash.
All right, so big missed opportunity from Ben.
Pablo's hand, I see a lot of energies and a Guzma. I don't think he can do too much with that.
No, that doesn't sound very good. Yeah, 4 energy and Guzma. Those are the 5 cards for Pablo. I think Ben's going to be okay.
Yeah, that aggression that Pablo took, not going with that Tapu Lele on the opening turn and going with that opening knockout, it might cost him here. It looks like he put himself in a pretty difficult spot.
Sure seems like it. So we just see the Jet Punch. Going to do 60 in total and then 30 to the benched Rockruff. And Ben's got to be feeling good. It's looking great for him. He's going to go down to 1 prize. And then all it's going to take is a Bloodthirsty Eyes or Guzma to target down maybe that Remoraid. And it'll be game over. And oh, Acerola going to scoop up that heavily damaged Lycanroc-GX.
Yep, and this also removes 1 Pokemon off of Ben's bench, so it doesn't have to worry about Dangerous Rogue returning the knockout on his Lycanroc. It seems almost impossible for Pablo to be able to hit the right numbers now at this point.
It sure does, and we're going to see the knockout on this Buzzwole-GX. It looked like Ben Potter was all but heading towards a quick 0-2 loss in round 13, but here he is making the full comeback. All he had was a bunch of Rockruff, and Pablo's going to concede. And we're heading to a game 3.
Yeah, I talked to Ben earlier in the day, and he was telling me that this matchup for him, he's just gone very aggressive Lycanroc, and it's been working out for him. He's just been able to dictate the pace, and it works out well when Pablo just didn't have very much going on for him, was never really able to establish any draw, and now Ben's in a spot where he could steal a win against the top player in the tournament right now.
And wins are what it's all about at this point. Obviously, losses are always bad, but ties are not really acceptable at this point. You got to get those W's, get the 3 match points if you want to make the top 8. And Ben might have kept himself alive if he can take game number 3.
Yeah, I think the only person in the whole tournament that would be okay with tying right now is Pablo. Yeah. So he might actually slow his pace down a little bit and relax, take a breath, and think out his turns a little more this time around. He does have a pretty good matchup, and he gets to go first. So just go with that strategy that worked well for you in the opening game, and I feel like he's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I have been in that position before where you're fine with the draw, but your opponent isn't.
Yep.
And my plan was just like, I'm just going to try to not lose.
Right.
I don't care if we tie. So as long as we go to a game 3, maybe get a point out of it. That's cool.
You see your opponent wildly throwing cards and shuffling frantically.
Yeah, it looks like Ben will have a mulligan in game number 3. So Pablo will begin the game with an extra card.
Yep, and an extra minute off the clock as well. Takes a little while to get those mulligans settled.
All right, we see prize cards for Pablo, a couple Brooklet Hills, and 1 Regirock-EX. Could be potentially important.
Yep.
So folks, if you're watching, get on social media, use the hashtag #PlayPokemon. Tell us who you think is going to win round number 13. Will it be Pablo Meza, or will it be Ben Potter?
Ben now continuing to try to start this game for us. Just hasn't found any basic Pokemon to start, and the clock continues to tick.
Yep. Mulligan number 2. You cannot begin the game without a basic Pokemon. So Ben will shuffle up again, draw a fresh 7 cards, and go from here.
Yep, probably when he starts this game off, trying to not start that Zorua. It's always very risky when you're playing against Buzzwole. And once again, he just can't find a basic Pokemon to start the game.
All right. Hopefully we'll get this game started sometime today, Kyle.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Until then, I can stare at both Bens.
Indeed. All right, so we're at game number 3, Kyle. We've seen 2 games in this matchup. What do you think is going to be the key to winning game number 3?
Well, I think Ben's strategy is going to continue. He just wants to get energies down onto Rockruff so that he can threaten some pretty good attacks with his Lycanroc. But I think the key was the max elixirs onto a secondary attacker for Pablo. If he can continually have 2 threats available, then he puts himself in a really great spot to just put Ben on the back foot. And even if Ben brings up his one Pokemon that can knock out a big threat, usually all of his energies are on that Pokemon, just because he doesn't have that energy acceleration in his deck.
Makes sense to me. All right, we got a basic. We're going to start the game.
We get the Rodell nod of approval. He's ready to play too.
All right, here we go. Prize cards for Ben Potter. See Professor Kukui, a rescue stretcher, and an enhanced hammer. A lot of supporters in there, but nothing entirely important.
Yep.
And we're going to kick off game 3. Pablo will be going first with a lot of cards.
Yeah, he starts off with a 10 or 11 card hand there now, and I'm sure he'll be able to get himself in a fantastic spot, but started awkwardly with Tapu Lele.
Do see Ultra Ball from Pablo. He has already put down that Buzzwole-GX with a basic fighting energy, and we'll see the Remoraid coming out, so pretty decent start. If you can find, a strong energy next turn and a Regirock-EX, you can start picking away at those 60 HP basic Pokemon.
Yep.
And get off to that fast start that we've seen in every game so far.
Yeah, he always has that one turn available to him where Ben won't be able to evolve anything, and you can take that easy prize. Looks like he had the strong energy in hand, but wants to hold it. He knows that Ben plays enhanced hammers.
Indeed. So here we do see Tapu Lele GX Wonder Tag. Going to search for a supporter. I'm going to guess it starts with a B.
And ends with a Ridget. Yeah, we've seen this card so often, searching out Bridget now. Just seems like they were meant to be. And I don't know how many Zorua Ben should feel comfortable grabbing here, because 1 seems very risky, and 2 seems like maybe you're committing too much to your Zoroark, but you almost have to assume the first Zorua is going to fall.
Yeah, I think 2 ends up being a safe number. You do want Zoroark-GX in play. I mean, your deck is built assuming that you can use trade over and over and over as a draw engine. So even though you're facing up against fighting Pokemon, if you're playing a Zoroark-GX deck at home, don't be afraid, get it out there still. But yeah, you can go kind of too far if you put too many Zoroark-GX on the field. Your opponent can get too many prize cards. We just saw a 40 damage tackle. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it's the Pramawat versus Yoshi game all over again.
Wrong matchup, though. You do not want to be attacking with Rockruff against most other decks.
Yeah, it looks like Pablo does not have a way to get that Regirock, or else I would assume he would start taking out these Rockruffs. He's going to put on this strong energy, which means that he's threatening absorption or knuckle impact in the future turns, and he gets to put some pretty good pressure down, knocking out a Zorua and softening up this potential Lycanroc.
Yeah, currently Lycanroc-GX cannot knock out Buzzwole-GX. There's not enough bench Pokemon for Dangerous Rogue. Even with strong energy and Choice Band and Professor Kukui, it's still not enough.
Yeah, needs a target whistle.
So we'll see what Ben decides to go for. He could go for Tapu Lele GX, try to just energy drive to whittle away this Buzzwole so that Lycanroc can come in later.
Yeah.
To see the first Zoroark-GX coming down and the trade for 2 cards. Still digging for that double colorless energy.
Yeah, didn't find too much there. He found another Zorua and a Tapu Lele. This Tapu Lele could search him out maybe a better supporter for the turn. I think he has a few options in his hand there, but gonna start off with the Ultra Ball.
Getting rid of Professor Kukui and Guzma. Those don't draw quite enough cards for his liking, so gonna be looking for perhaps Tapu Lele GX. Oh, he has one in his hand already.
Yep, probably gonna take that Lycanroc now. Don't know if he even wants to use the ability. He might just want to get some damage onto this Buzzwole. Or maybe he could just take out Pablo's draw power in the Octillery and just try to deal with this Buzzwole later. It seems like you got to get through this Buzzwole eventually, though.
Yeah, I think he's going to be digging for Enhanced Hammer here.
For sure.
Getting rid of that strong energy neutralizes the threat of the Absorption-GX. And here we go. Professor Sycamore, this is a big 7 cards.
Yep, looking through, see some puzzle pieces. Got a double colorless energy, so he is going to be able to start putting on some pressure. Also has the multi-switch in hand. That could get cute later if he wants to split these energies up.
No Enhanced Hammer, so just going to see an Energy Drive for 80 damage. Remember, Energy Drive does not apply weakness. Otherwise, it would be much more difficult to use Buzzwole-GX.
Oh, yeah. The Mewtwo Wars of the past. Not coming back, please.
So another Buzzwole-GX goes down on the bench, and Pablo not even committing to his active. He's just going to stick with Jet Punch, it looks like. Unless he's tricking us all and playing a multi-switch.
Yeah, I don't see it just yet. He's going to get 2 cards off this Octillery and just finds an N. It seems like if he had the Guzma, he would feel a little more comfortable being aggressive. He'd also need a Float Stone along with it to come back to the active spot. But that Lycanroc is the real threat. Tapu Lele probably feels more comfortable just getting some damage into it, and he can continue to just Jet Punch his way through.
So Pablo going to shuffle in and draw 5 cards. Ben will draw 6. And we'll see what Pablo decides to do on his turn. Here's the Max Elixir. Looking at the top 6 cards, will he find a basic energy? And he finds plenty.
That looks like his hand from game 2 earlier. Does find himself 3 options, and that means he's going to start working on this 2-faceted combo. He's got double Buzzwole, 2 big threats lined up, and this is something that Ben just has a hard time dealing with.
2 Buzz, 2 Swole.
Get the hashtag ready.
All right. So we see 2 energy on both Buzzwole-GX. And there is the Jet Punch for 50 damage, 30 to these Zoroark-GX on the bench, setting up for an easier knockout later. And another Zoroark-GX coming into play. What do you think Ben needs to do on this turn?
Well, definitely would love to find a Choice Band or a Professor Kukui. He just wants to get that little bit of extra damage he needs on Buzzwole. Probably along, and he just wants to get energy attachments elsewhere so that this Lele took a 2-for-2 trade on this Buzzwole. And that's pretty much it. I don't know what else he needs. He's got double puzzle in hand, so probably is going to be able to work something out here.
Do you think there's any merit in going after the benched Buzzwole? I think if he had strong energy and Guzma, he could actually go after the benched one with no damage and knock it out with Dangerous Rogue-GX.
Yeah, that'd be pretty strong. He'd leave Pablo with just 1 attacker, which could be knocked out by even a Zoroark. So it's a pretty strong line there for himself. Also had some Enhance Hammer options if he was able to find one. Just removing these strong energies would be great for him too. So a lot of different choices here for Ben.
Here we do see Lycanroc-GX. Will he go for the Bloodthirsty Eyes? Looks like Professor Kukui drawing 2 cards. Does he have an energy, though?
Yeah,
oh.
I think he still has that multi-switch if he wants to move the double colorless.
Oh, look at that. A little float stone action. And here we do see multi-switch. Oh, no, double colorless energy. That works, too.
Just can hold it. That works very well.
And with the Choice Band and Professor Kukui, he's hitting for 200 damage on Dangerous Rogue-GX. Ben takes the lead, and all Pablo has is a Buzzwole-GX with 80 damage on it. Could easily be knocked out by any number of things.
Yeah, now this is a turn where Pablo needs to find some energy acceleration because probably needs to attach to the active and find Max Elixirs to get another threat going. And I'm not seeing it just yet. Was able to find a lot of energy cards, but just nothing to do with them.
See the energy onto Buzzwole-GX. He does have Sudowoodo in hand. That could be an attacker he could power up, perhaps.
Yeah, it does have the multi-switch, but I don't think he's going to have any energies left on board. He probably would have to find himself a Max Elixir and then move an energy to Sudowoodo to even get an attack off the next turn.
Yeah, in fact, he's just going to Ultra Ball it away, I think. Probably favoring Lycanroc-GX at this point in the game. You know, if you can get 2 energy on something, might as well make it a Lycanroc.
Yeah, it's a lot of HP.
And has he used Abyssal Hand yet?
I think he either just drew up to get to that spot, because it seems like I don't think he had that many cards yet. But no,
Nope.
getting 2 now. More energy, great.
That's not what you're looking for. But he will be able to just Knuckle Impact for the knockout here.
Knuckle Impact for knockout?
Yeah, that's just enough for a knockout. Go down to 3 prizes, but looks like Ben kind of has the game laid out for himself. He can get a knockout here on this Buzzwole-GX, doing 110 damage. And there's a Tapu Lele-GX with just 130 HP left. And all it takes is a Choice Band Zoroark-GX Riot is beating, and the game could be over.
Yeah, it's in a very good spot here. Doesn't have just enough to knock out this Buzzwole yet. He might have to play a Choice Band on his other Tapu Lele and multi-switch this energy around. Get fancy with us, but also I don't see another energy attachment in his hand just yet, which is kind of awkward. Would really like to have an energy on his Lycanroc.
Yeah, he can't even really get a knockout here. Here comes Tapu Lele-GX going for the Wonder Tag. If he still has a trade available, he could perhaps grab Mallow and put 2 cards on top of his deck.
Yeah, looks like he's eyeing up a few cards there with the Mallow. He wants to find himself an Enhance Hammer and an Energy.
All right, so it looks like he will be in prime position to get this knockout and put himself at 2 prize cards. I wonder which Pokemon he'll decide to attack with, though. Will it just be a Tapu Lele-GX, so you don't put a Zoroark-GX in danger?
Yeah, I feel like that would be pretty safe for him if he just decides to use the multi-switch there.
Do see trade once again, and going to put an energy onto Lycanroc-GX. And looks like he's going for the multi-switch. He can Claw Slash for the knockout. And go down to 2 prize cards.
Yeah, it gets a little scary if Pablo's able to find the Max Elixir here now, along with a Floatstone. He could get Dangerous Rogue right back and doesn't have 2 attackers ready. But Lycanroc, if it survives this turn, it's likely going to win him the game.
Yeah, although he has already used his GX attack, so he can't really get a one-hit knockout on any of Pablo's GXs outside of that Tapu Lele that's already damaged.
Right.
All right, here's a big turn for Pablo. He does find the Floatstone, but his hand is just loaded with energy. Can he even play his hand down enough to use Abyssal Hand?
Even if he finds the Max Elixir, will he find a fighting energy off of it?
That's true as well. There's just a couple left in there.
Yeah.
3, 4.
Okay.
Wow. How much energy does this guy play?
I would miss that Max Elixir, but Pablo might not.
So Brooklet Hill going to fail here. Pablo just wanted to take a look through his deck before he uses this Abyssal Hand, playing down the Regirock. And looks like he's just going to multi-switch up to the active. That's almost sacrificing your ability to attack with a Lycanroc this turn. He does have Guzma in hand, though.
Yeah.
Are there any targets he could knock out on the bench?
Looks like he could start to work on a Zoroark if he wants to. Be 120 damage because of the Regirock. But I don't know if that math works out too well for him. Also, Ben could just ace a roll of that Zoroark, and not only do you lose all that damage, but that's another easy knockout that's just taken off the board.
Yeah, if Pablo had Choice Band, he could knock out this Zoroark-GX, but does not look like that's the case. Just a bunch of energy. And he's going to be in a very bad position here. If Ben has a Guzma and Choice Band,
yeah,
this one's going to be over. He's going to take round number 13. And we just see the Jet Punch. 30 damage on a Tapu Lele-GX. Can Ben find the cards he needs?
Yeah, I see the Choice Band in his hand. Don't know if he's got that Guzma just yet. Of course, can use some trades to try to get himself there.
Trade.
Looks like he's going to start off with this first trade, and don't see the Guzma just yet. Going to try one more time. Puzzle
Another
piece and a
trade.
floatstone.
Drawing all those cards, you still can't find the one you need.
Come on, Ben. Regardless, still a fine spot. Not going to win the game immediately, but has that Acerola in hand, can pick up all this damage along with the Zoroark. And he has an Enhance Hammer in hand too, so he can just take away the only energy that Pablo has on board.
Yeah, even though he might not win this turn, he's still going to be in a great spot. He did draw that Acerola. Can scoop up his Zoroark-GX. And there is the Enhanced Hammer. Strong energy will be discarded.
Yeah, for a second, I'm thinking he might even Acerola his own Tapu Lele, and then he can search out the Guzma for the game on the following turn. It might just sacrifice this Zoroark. He can Floatstone it and go hide. But yeah, it looks like he's going to take away this Zoroark first, and then he can get some damage down on the Buzzwole along. And then he has two choices when it comes to his next top decks.
Cards in hand.
Yeah, I like this. It sets up Buzzwole to be knocked out, so forces Pablo to have a way to move his Buzzwole. Otherwise, the game is just going to end. And it gives you an easier Guzma target to win the game. Right now, the Tapu Lele would require an extra card, like a Choice Band.
Right.
But Buzzwole-GX with 80 HP can be knocked out by either Zoroark or Lycanroc's Claw Slash.
Yep, now Ben has to make the decision of if he wants to start playing out some cards in his hand for a potential N out of Pablo. Could start to thin out a little bit here. Depends if he values cards like that Choice Band in his hand or if he just wants to start playing them all down.
Yep. Double colorless energy going on to the benched Zoroark-GX. We will see a Claw Slash for 110 damage, it looks like. I don't think he has a strong energy, right?
Yep. I think he already used his trade, and he used Acerola for his supporter.
Okay.
He had two trades earlier, so I don't know if that Kukui was. Yeah, he had the Acerola for the supporter for the turn. So hopefully we can get that figured out. It's just 20 extra damage. Got to get those cards back.
Yeah, I don't think it'll end up mattering. But we do see strong energy onto the benched Rockruff and Lycanroc-GX.
Abyssal hand for 2.
See an Abyssal hand for 2 cards and more energy.
It's just getting them all in the wrong order. You're supposed to get the max elixir.
He's just gonna grab the Regirock EX and dump his hand with the Professor Sycamore. And I mean, now that he's evolved into Lycanroc, he can't even max elixir onto it. So he can't even really power up a dangerous rogue.
Yeah,
right.
It's like Pablo's just going to go ahead and use the Sycamore here and try to fish out the rest of his resources.
And he does get the max elixir, but no way to move his Buzzwole-GX, and that's it. Ben Potter's going to take round number 13, and he will advance to 11-2, putting himself at 33 match points. He has not lost today.
Yeah, and if they've calculated it out right, I believe the players think that 34 is going to be a safe spot, so Ben might start looking for some intentional draws to get him to 35 and be very safe.